Warm welcome everyone to this presentation. Now, great times demand great energy from us. Now, the world is facing a great challenge, COVID-19. World is at one side and COVID is on the other side, and the world is unanimously fighting COVID, the pandemic. In this COVID times, in this tough times, what matters most is definitely our inner power and inner strength. World peace begins with inner peace, said Dalai Lama. And inner peace begins with a smile, says Mother Teresa. Peace begins with a smile. There is something really funny about humans. The most precious things of humans: peace of mind, happiness, love, smile, all these are free. We can freely share with others. We can share our smile, love, and care. So, the road to mental well-being is simple. Anyone can give it a try, and it is entirely dependent on our inner peace and inner dispositions. So, warm welcome everyone to some fragments of thoughts on mental health, secrets of mental health. Health is important. Health is our real wealth. And if money is lost, something is lost. If money is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. And if character is lost, everything is lost. Health is precious. And a healthy mind exists in a healthy body only. That's a quote from the great Greek thinker Aristotle. So, secrets of mental health. This presentation is divided into a few subtitles. What is mental health? What is mental illness? Types of mental illnesses. How to respond to mental illness. Characteristics of a mentally healthy person, how to boost your mental health status, how to boost the mental health of others. Let's begin. What is mental health? In order to understand mental health, we need to understand health. World Health Organization defines health in a very typical manner. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So, according to World Health Organization, health is physical, mental, and social well-being. So, what is mental health? So, World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of well-being in which the individual relies his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stress of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. So, the first aspect is relying on one's own abilities, standing on one's own feet, realizing one's strengths, inner abilities, and talents, self-knowledge. Socrates is called the wisest man because he knew he didn't knew much. He was asked, why are you the wisest? Socrates said, I know that I don't know. I know about my own ignorance. Self-knowledge. So the first element is self-knowledge, having a right concept of oneself and realizing one's strengths and abilities and having confidence in oneself, standing on one's own foot. Second one is the ability to cope with the normal stress of life. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? Everyone's life is a pack of positive aspects and stressful things. Life is a combination of both, like the two sides of a coin. So, we need the ability to cope with the stress of life, the challenges, troubles, problems we need to overcome. When there is a problem, we should not say, I have a great problem, but say, I have a great God. There is a saying like that. When there is a problem, a big problem, if one faces it positively, the problem becomes an opportunity. In the annals of history, all the troublesome times opened up new possibilities. Even the pandemic, we are facing a great pandemic, but the pandemic has opened many possibilities. Many new companies have evolved. People can work from home, and all teachers have learned the art of teaching through internet. What not? Plenty of positive things. There is a silver lining in everything. Even the most stressful things have the seeds of new developments in it. So, mental health is the ability to cope with the normal stress of life. Next dimension is working productively and fruitfully. That's very important. In our life's journey, our real potential and the level we reach, there is a big gap between the two lines. Our real potential is this much, but we only reach this much. Plenty of space to go, not even in productivity, not even in our work in the office, even in our sharing of love. We can do this much, but we are only reaching half of it. The potential and the actuality, there is a big gap. So, mindfulness and mental well-being enables a person to be productive and fruitful and able to make a positive contribution to his or her community. Man is born selfish, once a philosopher said. Now, Sartre said, the other is my hell because I have no choice but to share. But actually, the other is my heaven. It's only in the presence of another person that the best qualities of a person finds its realization. So, we need to have a comprehensive social commitment. Moving from the selfish horizons, we have to widen our horizon. Now we have to move towards the 4 dimensions and contribute to the well-being of the society. That's a duty of every human being. This is the definition of mental health given by World Health Organization. So mental health is a state of balance between the individual and the surrounding world. A state of harmony between oneself and others. Coexistence between the realities of the self and that of other people. So mental health is a state where one is confident enough to handle one's own problems and to respond to the environment to the society, and to the people who are working with us. That is a mentally healthy status. Now, American Psychological Association (APA) has given 4 dimensions of mental health in 1980. Simultaneous success at working and loving. Some are workaholics. They are successful in their work, but in their love life, they are failures. So we should be successful simultaneously in the working space and the loving space, in the office and in the family. That's the first dimension. Second dimension, mature and flexible resolution of conflicts. Mature and flexible resolution of conflicts. That's very important. There is a beautiful poem in America, Mending Walls by Robert Frost. There are 2 neighbors. One person is always worried about mending walls. The wall dividing the 2 families, 2 properties is slightly damaged. One person is always worried, we need to mend the walls, because only mending walls make good neighbors. That's the idea. But the other person is not worried about walls. He tells, why are you so much worried about walls? My coconut plant would not come to your property and eat your grass. Then why are you worried about mending walls this much? But the other person always tells, mending walls make good neighbors. It's very important. Now, mature and flexible resolution of conflicts is important. When there is a problem, we need to address the problem and solve it amicably. Now, we should take care to solve a problem, stressing the benefit of the other party. And there should be, I am okay, you are okay relationships. Now, conflicts are positive. Hegel, the German philosopher, says growth is always through conflicts. There is thesis, then antithesis, and then comes synthesis. Thesis comes, a new idea. Then it is implemented, antithesis comes, opposite to the first idea. But the second one is not perfect. Then comes a synthesis, where the blending of the first and the 2, the best ideas of the thesis and antithesis is put together, and a synthesis comes. So conflicts are positive, but there should be peaceful conflict resolution. A mentally healthy person can ensure peaceful resolution of conflicts. Now, there wouldn't be any conflict if there is no freedom, and there is no choice, and there is no freedom of opinion. Conflict arises only when there are thinking rational people, humans, coming together, sharing ideas, sharing their own experiences and inner aspirations. There would be conflicts. Conflicts are positive, and conflict resolution is important in mental health. The third dimension is creative management of other people. People skills. That's the third dimension. Now we know that managers get better salaries, but they do little things, small things. Their responsibility is to keep things going, and their responsibility is to maintain harmony in human relationships, and managers are paid well for that. So human relationships, people skills are very important. Now finally, having a sense of reality. One should have a sense of reality. That's the concept of mental health according to American Psychiatric Association. Now next dimension, what is mental illness? Actually, mental ill health and mental illness are not synonymous. Mental ill health is low mental health. Acute mental illness leads to problems. Acute mental ill health leads to mental illnesses. So what is mental illness? A person's behavior is causing distress and suffering to self and others. That is mental illness. A person's behavior is causing distress and suffering to self and others. Actually, a person who is mentally ill is causing maximum damage to himself, not to others. He is causing maximum damage to his own self. And in the course of damaging himself, he is causing suffering to others also. Suffering to people who are working with him and suffering to people who are living with him. So, mental illness is important and we need to address it. So, I would like to mention 4 or 5 most important basic mental illnesses. First one is schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a serious mental disorder in which people interpret reality abnormally. Abnormal interpretation of actual things, reality, kinds of hallucinations, and wrong interpretations of things. Now, the minute elements of this mental illness exists in us. So, if one person who is coming opposite to us don't look at us and don't greet us, naturally we judge it and we come to conclusions that he is in enmity with me, he is angry towards me, and there may be a problem, there may be the beginning of a relationship damage there. So schizophrenia is a serious mental disorder and the acute form is really terrible for the person and for the people who are living with that person. Next one is depression. Depression is now, it has come as an ordinary disorder now. It's familiar. There are many people who are suffering from depression. Depression is a mental health disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood or loss of interest in activities causing significant impairment in daily life. Low activity level and low mood, not interested in engaging in activities and interacting with people, that is the typical depressive mood. That's a mental disorder. Third one is familiar to teachers, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. Now there are people who are hyperactive but they are attention deficit. They fail to focus in things and their activity style is hyperactive. It's difficult to control them. ADHD is a very significant mental illness. Now next one is obsessive compulsory disorder, OCD. Some people wash their hands many a times. They sanitize many a times and they check whether the room is locked or not many a time. Such a disorder is called obsessive compulsory disorder, a mental illness that causes repeated unwanted thoughts or sensations or the urge to do something over and over again. Now next one is anxiety disorder. Anxiety. Excessive anxiety is a disorder. A mental health disorder characterized by feeling of worry, anxiety or fear that are strong enough to interfere with one's daily activities. Now, when anxiety and stress prevents one from engaging in life's daily chores, it becomes an anxiety disorder. When there is a problem, when there is a challenge, when there is a timeline to complete something. Now, if the anxiety sprouting out of it goes to an uncontrollable level and inhibits us and prevents us from completing our daily responsibilities, it is anxiety disorder. Another important mental disorder familiar to people is Tourette's syndrome or TS. So usually it starts in childhood. Now when people who are mentally ill, when they interact, they jerk their neck or lips or blink their eyes or make some typical sounds when they interact. They shiver sometimes. So this kind of difficulty in facing small challenges of life is called Tourette syndrome. It starts in childhood. It involves uncontrollable repetitive movements or unwanted sounds. Unwanted sounds in TS are called tics, such as repeatedly blinking the eyes or shrugging shoulders. Now, Tourette syndrome is named after George Gilles Tourette, a French neurologist who first identified this disorder in 1885. In order to understand mental illness, Dr. Corey Kane's model of mental wellness would be beneficial. Now, he presents the 4 poles of mental health and mental illness. The first one is high mental health. The second level is low mental health. Now, the next vertical lines are high mental illness and low mental illness. The horizontal line, the first dimension is high mental health and the lower part is low mental health, and the next vertical dimension is left side high mental illness and low mental illness, and wellness comes in the right side upper band. A person who is high in mental health and low in mental illness is called a flourishing person. A flourishing person, a congruent person, having high mental health and very low mental illness. And people can be scattered in this pie diagram. In this 0, people can be scattered. There are people who are high in mental health, simultaneously high in mental illness also. High in mental health and high in mental illness. To cite an example, take the case of genius, people who are 135 IQ or 135 above. They find it very difficult to adjust with others. They have got high mental health but high mental illness as well. Poor adaptability is there. So people can be scattered in the various parts of these 4 poles. That is Corey Kay's model of mental illness. Now, Kay's argues it takes a combination of emotional, psychological, and social well-being to be considered mentally healthy. So, a person can be called mentally healthy only if he is emotionally strong, psychologically strong, and socially strong. Inner emotional equilibrium is essential. Psychological dimensions of the person should be sound, and he should be socially positioned well. These are the three dimensions of mental well-being according to Case. Now, the next question is how to respond to mental illness. Now, if there is a person in your family who gets angry without reason, or if there is a person in your workplace whose behavior is really unpredictable, how should we respond to them? That's very important. Now, we should not react. We should only respond to such a person because he is ill. A person who is ill should not be reacted with, but he should be responded properly in a tender manner, and he should be helped to seek some medical help and assistance. So, we should not consider mental illness as problematic, but we should consider mental illness as an illness that requires medical care and attention. Now, coming to characteristics of a mentally healthy person, I would like to give you the basic characteristics only. First one is self-awareness. Second one is control of instincts. Third one is adaptability. Fourth one is optimistic outlook. Fifth one, emotional balance. Sixth, enthusiasm. Seventh, sound body care. 8, positive attitude. 9, feeling of self-worth. Let us discuss these 9 characteristics of a mentally healthy person briefly. First one is self-awareness. Many a time people are not self-aware. Now, if a person touches his cheek and he says aching, there is pain. He touches his forehead and it says it's aching. Again he touches his chest and he says it's aching. Then your finger is hurt. Actually the problem is the hurt finger. Wherever you are touching, it's aching. Now, if wherever we go there is a problem, maybe we are the cause of the problem. If wherever we go there is happiness, maybe we are the cause of happiness. So, we should weigh ourselves. There is a window where we are not aware of ourselves. People are also not aware of ourselves. That window, one should be reflective enough to identify that window. Self-awareness is the most important thing. There is a method to develop self-awareness. Every night before going to bed, one has to brood over the things that happen from morn till that time. Just think of the things that happened. Introspect. There may be situations where we went wrong. We have to think, what should have been done? What should have been the alternative? Such a self-reflection at night would enable a person to develop self-awareness. There are some points where we lose ourselves. There are some vulnerable points with everyone. If people refer to that vulnerable point, we explode. But if we identify those vulnerable points, it's very easy to handle it. So the most important thing is self-awareness. That's the first characteristic. Second one is control of instincts. The it in us would give suggestions. Now if you are having a dinner, the it in you will tell you to pick the biggest chicken piece or the largest chicken fry. The id is giving you beautiful suggestions and commands. But we need to control our instincts. If somebody has dressed up in a very compelling style, so your id would encourage you to peep again and again and enjoy. But we need to control our instincts. So a mentally sound person is able to control his instincts. He will control his instincts in a beautiful manner. Even the negative instincts can be sublimated, converted into something positive. Even the life's tragedies can be converted to something positive. We can adopt positive defense mechanisms, and we need to control our instincts. So, second character is controlling one's instincts. Third one is adaptability. There are people who say, my style is different. So we need to understand that people are not bothered about our styles. Our style is important to us only. More than maintaining our styles, an adaptable person finds to adapt oneself to the circumstances and suit beautifully. Adaptability is very important. So we need to adapt ourselves, and we need to enjoy the cup that is given to us rather than looking in the cups of others. We have to look in the cup served to you, served to us, and we need to be adaptable. If you are adaptable enough, many confrontations can be avoided. Now the fourth character is optimistic outlook. Whenever a challenge is posed to us, the natural tendency of humans is to be negative. Now if a person is singing beautifully, there are two possibilities for us. One, either enjoy the song and applaud wholeheartedly. The second possibility is envying that person and thinking, I am not good at singing. The optimist sees an opportunity even in a problem, but the pessimist sees a challenge even in an opportunity. That's important. So mentally sound people are optimistic. They are very positive. Optimism is important. Next one is emotional balance. There may be situations in our life where we would be lost in temper. But a mentally sound person controls his emotions, his anger, wrath, everything. It's Aristotle who said, anyone can be angry, but to be angry to the right person at the right time for a right cause to the right degree, that's difficult. That's impossible. That's what Aristotle said. Indirectly, Aristotle is suggesting not to get angry. And when we get angry, we lose our body language. And there are situations we would not be having sufficient saliva in our mouth, and we would not be able to articulate words and sentences properly. So, emotional stability and balance is important. Even if something negative and derogatory comes from another person, if we are mature enough to handle that, that's great. When Mahatma Gandhi was badly beaten by a foreigner using his boots, Gandhiji asked, "Is your shoes okay? Are they damaged or not?" Mother Teresa was begging for some money to feed the poor in Calcutta. But the rich man spat on her hand. Then she closed that hand and opened the other and said, "This is for me, fine. Now give something for my poor people, to feed my poor people." That rich man became one of the biggest supporters of Mother Teresa. So, emotional balance is very important. Now, enthusiasm. Mentally sound person is always enthusiastic. What can I do? What can I do now? Which act of me can contribute for the betterment of the environment? Can my initiative develop positive energy in others? Expressing energy in eyes, facial expressions, movements, everything, agility. That's a very important positive character of a mentally healthy person. Whenever there is an opportunity, spring up and go forward and snatch the opportunity. Mentally healthy person tries to sit in the front bench or front seat always to get the maximum. And a mentally sound person would be giving a very positive body language as well. So enthusiasm is very important character. Sound body care. Eating good food, taking exercise, and keeping the body clean. Awareness about one's looks. Awareness about one's clothes. All these things are positive dimensions that show that a person is mentally sound and agile. So, sound body care is very important. Taking care of yourself, your body, is a very important character of a mentally sound person. Now, positive attitude. Attitude is very important. Attitude will take us to greater altitudes. And we need a positive attitude always. When there is a glass half full of water, there are two possibilities. Either we can say, "Oh, how sad, only half a glass of water." The next option should be, "Hi, half a glass of water, sufficient enough." So we need positive attitude. Now, next one is feeling of self-worth. Feeling of self-worth is an important character of a mentally sound person. Now, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam says, "You are more important than what can happen to you. Not just our productivity and our earnings. The worth of a person is not in his earning. The worth of a person is in the positive energy that he emanates to others. The worth of a person is in the selfless love that he shares with others. The worth of a person is not grabbing, giving, caring for others, living for others. Mahatma Gandhi said, the best method to find the meaning of life is to lose yourself in the service of others. So feeling of self-worth is important. That's a very important character of a mentally sound person. Now, dear friends, coming to the most important part of the presentation. How can we boost our mental health status? I would like to share you a few thoughts on quality sleep, brain-rich food, gradual development of aware of oneself, gradual development of awareness of others, quality learning, quality relationships, physical exercise, nature-friendly lifestyle, skill with people, and meditation. These are some of the keys to mental health. Let us discuss each one shortly. Each one in a few sentences I would like to elaborate in brief. The first one to develop mental health is quality sleep. So we need to have a time to go to bed and a time to get up. If you have a time to go to bed and time to get up, your biological clock would be sound. And mental health is closely related to our subconscious mind and biological clock. From 11 o'clock, our brain produces sleep hormones. Now, if you don't sleep for 4 or 5 hours from 11 o'clock, even if you sleep for 10 hours next day during daytime, you would be feeling more tired only, because there is a time to sleep. Early to bed and early to rise keeps you healthy, wealthy, and fresh. So we need sound sleep. Now people need a minimum of 7 hours of sleep, and children needs 8 hours of sleep. You see, our dreams are the permutations and combinations of things that are happening during daytime. So when we sleep, actually our mind is processing the activities and the experiences, the schema or the impressions that one got on that particular day, and each thing is accepted into the system, stored in the brain during night sleep. Things get assimilated inside when we sleep. So sound sleep is a must. When we sleep sufficient time for 7 hours during night, you would be highly productive during daytime. Now, if your sleep is a disturbed sleep, take care. You would be unproductive next day. And there are some rhythms of sleep. Now, if our sleep is divided into 90 minutes chunk, that would be beneficial. We should not divide it. And so if you are sleeping from 9 o'clock, then 10:30 one chunk. 12 is next chunk. 1:30 next. Then 3 o'clock next chunk, and 4:30 next chunk. Like that. We can divide like that. So if the sleep is divided into 90 minutes chunk, there is gradual beginning of sleep, moving towards the depth of sleep, and gradual movement towards awakening. That would be beneficial to our health. So sound sleep is important. Next one is brain rich diet. Now we need to eat fibrous food, plenty of leafy vegetables, raw fruits. These are important. So we need to take a balanced diet, protein rich food, and we need to eat salad, fresh, uncooked salads and raw fruits. We can consume all the vital nutrients like that. So small fish, types of fish like Natholi, Chala, Aila, I don't know the English translations. Small types of fish are really brain rich. So we need to take small fish. Now stop frying things. Cook things and eat. Reduce the quantity of fried food. So brain rich food gives us plenty of positive hormones also. Serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. We get positive hormones from food as well. Leafy vegetables. From exercise also we get positive hormones. Next one is gradual development of awareness about self. Now we need to reflect and introspect the things that happen in our lives and objectively evaluate it. When we interpret the events in our lives, we will be capable of understanding our real strengths, weaknesses and vulnerable points. Gradually we can master ourselves. A person who can master himself is a mentally vibrant person. So self mastery is important, and gradually we need to reflect on our own activities and grow in self awareness. Next one is we have to gradually learn people who are around us, maybe at home, maybe in the workplace. Each person is having his own environment and heredity, his own strengths and weaknesses and vulnerable points. In order to manage people, we need to identify the strengths of people and allocate works related to their strengths. And we need to identify the weaknesses of people and help them overcome it. And when teams are formed, make sure that people who are compatible each other should be formed as pairs. So people knowledge is very important, and most of all we should be aware of the vulnerable points of people who are working with us and living with us. And we should not provoke too much, because a mentally healthy person can slip to mental ill health once that person is provoked too much in the vulnerable area. So we should gradually develop people awareness. Now the third next dimension is quality learning. Every day we need to invest time in learning, in reading, in observing, in listening to talks. The quality of one's learning would be translated into the quality of living.